I'm here with the great Andrew Simon Bregman. I'll
Oh,
put the
damn.
link. Introduce yourself. I'll put his link in the description below. You can go
I'm the
check out
great
his channel.
Andrew Simon Bregman,
The great, yeah. Don't forget.
uh, student of Paul Janko.
Yes, the man, the myth, the legend, Paul Janko. Um, and we went to school together. Me and Andrew, not Paul. We went to City College together. Both studying engineering. If you know, you know.
I think Paul Janko is like twice as old as you, as us.
Paul Janko's like 50.
Yeah.
So if you know, you know about that too. Um, about a year ago, or approaching a year ago, funny enough, we started doing approaches together. Uh, Andrew knows Andrew knows a lot more about it than I do.
I don't know if that's true anymore.
Well, he was like my he was he was my coach for a while. Well, still is really. When I was too much of a pussy to do it.
I think that you hesitate less than me nowadays.
Yeah, I mean, I don't hesitate that much, but it used to
I
be
mean,
a point. It used to
yeah.
get to a point where I would make up things in my head like, oh, the woman is too hot, or oh, she seems like she's busy. Oh, it seems like she's on the phone with somebody important. Oh, it seems like she's busy buying something at the register, or it seems like she's trying to hail a cab. I don't want to get in the way, right? Or maybe she's talking to her friends, and oh, I don't want to interrupt the conversation. So many reasons, right? Endless reasons or endless excuses to not go up and say hi, right? And it reached a point where Andrew was like physically pushing me, making me go after what I wanted, which is why I don't hesitate anymore.
Good metaphor for life.
Yeah, what is?
Go after what you want.
Well, yeah. He had to physically push me a couple times, and threaten to scream in public places. But yeah, I don't know. How did you ever deal with hesitation and anxiety around that before? Because you were doing it by yourself, right? Before you showed me how to do it.
Yeah. I mean, my story is that when I was like a teenager and got zero women's in school. And then even after high school, like getting into my like early 20s, yeah, like I got dates occasionally off like the apps or whatever. But it was like kind of at the mercy of those dating apps, and it was always hard. And I saw like way back in the day there was this YouTube channel called Simple Pickup. Do you ever see their videos? Do you know who
No,
I'm
I
talking about?
haven't. Are they
Yeah,
still around?
they like closed down their channel for some reason. Then they all kind of like broke up. But yeah, I mean, there's like equivalent channels nowadays. Like, as you know, my favorite guy, James Marshall. So he has like similar style videos, but yeah, like I really wanted to be able to do what they did, because the truth was that it wasn't even then, like as like I literally would watch their videos and feel like my like chest like pounding, or my heart pounding, getting like nervous like for the dude back then. Like I remember that.
I've definitely felt that too, watching pickup videos.
And it's so funny because it's like there's no logic behind it. But even back then, like even though I couldn't couldn't quite like wrap my head around like pushing myself to be able to do that. I understood that in reality, like they didn't do anything that impressive. Like, okay, like you walked up to another human being and like went, made some sounds, like blah, 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 like say your name, ask the girl something, whatever. But before I could like really like get too carried away, I mean, engineering school kept me busy, which was like a sick excuse. I don't know. I rescind my statement. I don't think it was really relevant at all. If anything, it kind of made everything worse because there was even like less girls that I would like, see on a regular basis. So it should have been like even more encouraging for me to go out and do that stuff. But yeah, probably. I mean, basically, just being a pussy. But eventually, like I did get my like first girlfriend, and we were together for like 3.5 years. But then, so the story goes like this, right? Like to answer your question, like how did I get over it? Okay, I missed like one important element of one important part of the story, which is like before I had my first girlfriend. It actually got to a point where like I paid some like random guy off of like a forum. I don't know if I ever told you this, but I paid some like coach guy to like teach me how to pick up chicks, and the guy was like okay, and he taught me like this like very basic, like if you ever read about like any of the pickup material or whatever, there's a lot of like stuff you can read, but he taught me like this basic technique which is like repeated everywhere, which is like just to warm up. So like you just, because you're not going to be able to talk to like a girl that you think is hot if you can't even like talk to a stranger. So start with talking to strangers. Also, you should be able to just pay women compliments. And so like that was the one thing that I only like paid him one time. I only went out one time, and that was basically the only thing that I accomplished with that guy. I was able to like, walk by a girl and be like, oh, I like your shoes. Okay, bye, and then I'll run away. So it was like, okay, at least I did something, right? But like I said, then I got in a relationship, and it was like many years where I wasn't doing that. And then when I was when we broke up, like I was like quite devastated, and I like was crying a lot, like a little girl. And I was like with my parents. And honestly, believe it or not, like I was telling my mom like how I wanted to be like a freaking pickup artist. I was like, I want to like do this, like I want to go up to like hot chicks and like pick them up or whatever. And so like in between like wiping the tears out of my eyes, like we went to like this outdoor mall, and then I was doing the same thing that I remembered that coach guy taught me, which was like to pay compliments. Oh, okay. So I was like trying. I didn't anticipate like kind of pushing myself any further, but I was like, okay, like whatever. It's a baby step. And so I kept doing that. Like girls would walk by, like, oh, like nice scarf, bye. People are like fucking weirded out by the way, right? Because it's like it depends. Like it depends how you do it, but like I was doing it in a weird way, like semi weird, because like I would just like almost like shout at the person. But eventually we walked into like a store, and then like in a more calibrated way, like I gave some girl a compliment, and then I walked back like my mom was like shopping. And then my mom was like, that girl was cute, why don't you keep talking to her? And I was like,
you mean go back?
I was like, but mom. And then that was like the fucking birth of pickup artist Andrew, because in that moment I like understood that the shame that I would have felt, like any shame that I could feel from whatever the fuck could possibly happen by going to talk to a girl, literally was like infinitely small compared to the shame that I would feel of like talking all this shit to my mom and be like, yeah, like I'm gonna be this pickup artist guy, and like screw my ex, and like I'm gonna find like so many better girls. I'm like, okay, like here's the opportunity to do that, and be like, okay, no, but I'm still a little bitch. Like I didn't want to. I was like, fuck that, bro. Like I don't care. Let the girl reject me. And then I like turned around and started to walk towards her, and that was already enough. Like in my mind, I was like, like that moment is literally like burned into my brain because that was like I felt like I was born because that was literally like the first time that I walked up to like a girl that I didn't know, like a woman that I didn't know, and I said hi, and then like she said she had a boyfriend, and also like quite frankly, the second that she opened her mouth, I don't know, just something turned me off about her, like her voice or whatever. So, but I knew that was the beginning, and then shortly thereafter, yeah, like I just understood that like I can process like whatever. Like, of course, it was like always uncomfortable, and there's like some mental barrier, but like the barrier of like taking that first step, like I overcame it. Like I hopped over that initial hurdle, so I knew that if I did it once, like of course I can do it. I can do it whenever I want. And I don't have trouble with girls at all anymore. Like I really like the world is my oyster. And basically,
My boy is cuffed at this point.
What was that?
Because of my boy is cuffed at this point. You're cuffed.
Yeah, more or less.
It didn't take long.
Yeah.
But this is the point that this is how you're gonna find your wife.
Right.
If not just an amazing partner, you'll find this way. It's incredible. It changed my life. Andrew, literally like a year ago, he's messaging me. He says, "How's your dating life? How are the apps? How are those shitty apps? Let me show you something that's gonna change your life. Come do this with me."
Was the very first day when we went? Oh no, when we went on Valentine's Day, that was already like the second time, yeah.
No, I think that was like the first. Yeah, Valentine's Day around
that day that you like came out, but you didn't do a single approach, and then I had to leave, but I kind of.
Yeah, it was. We were walking around at night, and I think you did some, but we ended up talking to two chicks in a bar. And that was like my first kind of like, I don't know. I didn't do anything.
I think that the first wasn't the first one that you did though. Like it was by yourself. Was it not? Like the day that you borrowed my car because you were supposed to do one with me. But...
Yeah, no, I didn't do one with you. We that's when we met up to specifically to do that in Central Park, and I didn't do I didn't do one. I just watched you do yours, and then when we left, you're like, "Motherfucker, like you better do one before you go home today, or you're gonna have wasted the whole fucking day." So I said, "All right." So we parted ways, and I ended up approaching this chick at a stoplight by myself, and that was really the tipping point. It was scary, but I felt so much better for having.
But you know, it's like it's so funny that you say it's scary or that like men have fear about doing this because it's like, why? Because like where does it come from? Because like, you know, it comes from like probably one of two main places that like. Or maybe like one of three places. So like one, maybe you're breaking like kind of societal norms, and that like generally this is like kind of a strange thing to do. The second is perhaps like you're just insecure in yourself, so like you just don't want to like have a stranger judge you. And perhaps the third is just like you don't want to like get rejected and like whatever, feel embarrassed. And the thing is like none of those are like legitimate reasons to actually have any like sense of fear. Because like the societal norm thing is like you're not doing anything like crazy. Like people talk to each other all the time. It's just you're doing it with the explicit intent of like trying to meet somebody else, and like as long as you respect people's boundaries, like you can get away with a lot. And also like you start to learn like, okay, when can you push the boundaries or whatever. But generally, like if you open your eyes a bit, like it's very obvious, like if a girl wants you to talk to her or she doesn't, or like her body language. And the thing is, some of my favorite interactions, like some of my most favorite interactions, were literally the ones where I got rejected because maybe the girl was like in a relationship or whatever, but like some of the shit that like the girls would say to you, it's just like so like motivating, encouraging, like.
Oh, that's true. Yeah, yeah.
Like there, I literally don't remember like the worst rejection was the one that I saw you went through, but like, and which didn't even affect you.
Yeah,
uh,
yeah.
but like for me, like I genuinely don't remember like any like real rejection that I went through that like I can still like be like, wow, that was like so embarrassing or so bad or whatever. And the reason for that is because like they last like 10 seconds, and you learn to just understand that if you don't give like a stranger the ability to judge you, then no one will ever be able to judge you. Okay, it's like kind of self-explanatory, but like how could you really like ever feel any kind of like shame from like a girl rejecting you when like the woman literally knows like nothing about you? Huh? Like if you walk up to a girl and you're like, hey, like I think you're cute, like I had to come say hi, and she tells you to fuck off, like do you think that's like a reflection of you or that's a reflection of the girl? Because like to me it's a reflection of the girl, like obviously, right? Like she knows literally nothing about you. And by the way, like the amount of times that that's
100%.
happened is also zero. Because like any girl that's like worth her salt, that like has any sense of like decency would all like most girls, especially the attractive women, like they know how to like kind of elegantly reject you. So it's like it's not even a
Yeah,
they'll.
they're used to doing it a lot, so they know how to do it nicely.
Yeah, in fact, probably some of the like worst rejections that you'll face are like from like less attractive women because they don't get approached as often, or like they're not used to as much attention, so they think it's
Yeah,
weird.
God
But
bless
like,
them. Yep.
the more attractive women are like more used to it, so it's like they like it's kind of easier. Like I don't know, bro. Like, did you have that experience as well?
Yes, I think they've learned throughout their lives how to handle uh, strange men picking them up on the street. So some of them are much better, much more eloquent than others. But I think in general, uh, girls they're good at that stuff, at not coming off as not coming off rude, being polite in that situation, like and just telling you no in a nice way. But yet, to your other point, that the rejections are some of the best experiences is is true because it's encouraging. I've had girls tell me like, "Oh no, I have a boyfriend," but but I appreciate the courage to come up to me. You got balls.
And at a
So
certain
that's
point,
that's
it's like
reassuring for the future, really, to keep
like for
going.
me, like it just didn't even feel like courageous. It didn't feel like anything, but like somehow other people would interpret it that way. Like
Yeah,
in the
I've
beginning,
heard I've heard that word before from them. Like, wow, I appreciate the hustle or something like that.
but like even for yourself, right? Like because yeah, in the beginning, perhaps it's like some mental hurdle that's like okay, maybe it even takes the courage. But like once you kind of get used to it, it's like it's not even courage anymore, right? It's just like
It's just my job. It's my duty. Like, what am I supposed
it's
to
funny
do?
that people like stigmatize. What was that?
Like, what else am I supposed to do?
Yeah,
It's here for you, Jake.
it's funny that people stigmatize like pickup so much because the reality is like if you're just saying hello to people or to women that you think are cool and like
Yeah.
acting accordingly. Like if the girl is interested in you, then maybe you'll get to know her, and if she's not, then you won't. And it's like it's as simple as that. And somehow people like um, I don't know. Those people are irrelevant. That's definitely also something that I learned, right? Like, it's so interesting, right? Like the only way that you'll please everybody on the entire planet is if you literally shut your mouth and don't go outside. Actually, even then you're not going to please everybody because there's a lot of people that will make fun of you for being a social hermit and not like doing. So like quite frankly, like literally any action that you take will never fully be acceptable to like everyone. Like there will always be some group of people that think whatever you're doing is wrong. So then why not just choose the things that like are good for you instead of like trying to like cater to like any particular subset of people that like what you're doing or don't like what you're doing. It's like, why don't you decide for yourself if you think it's a good thing or not a good thing?
Yeah. Final point that you have before we wrap this up.
Say hello, don't be a bitch.
Say hello, don't be a bitch. You heard it from the man, the myth, the legend right here. But yeah, one final point that I'll give is your father met your mother probably without any social media, right? I don't know, depending how old you are. But it's your duty as a man. That's what you have to do. That's what you're supposed to do. What else are you going to do? Not say
Beat
hi
your
to the
meat.
woman that you like? I don't think so.
Or beat your meat.
Yeah. Which gets old after a while. So humanity didn't progress with men doing that, and it'll definitely go into the ground if we keep doing that. So I'll put the link to Andrew's channel in the description and go check it out. We just posted another video together, so show him some love. And I'm gonna say,
Ass is vibrating.
and we'll go from here. Peace out.
Goodbye.